888-282-6333 and see how our family can help your family.
Well, it is a mean heat out there today, but Ruth, what lies ahead for the weekend and the rest of the week?
Right, well, some more mean heat before we get to a little relief, but we will see some rain probably midweek. Let's check our current conditions. We're still very warm, and here we've got a picture of some kids at the annual Children's Day at Carter Barron. Not too hot for about 3,000 kids to attend that festival. 40% relative humidity, winds out of the west, and a falling barometer. And we did get up to 98 degrees just after 4 o'clock this afternoon, just 3 degrees shy of our record for this date and above our averages for this time of year. Let's put the clouds in motion, check what they have done. We have had nothing but a few mid-level clouds float over us, enough to give us hazy, hot, humid sunshine and day, and you knew that if you were outside, if you set foot outside at all. As far as tonight goes, well, we're in for another muggy night. Temperatures only in the 70s, upper 70s if you're here in the district. And then for tomorrow, here's what's going on. We've got the Triple H, the hazy, hot, humid summer steam. We've got this high pressure pumping clockwise winds around the Gulf. That means it picks up that very moist air and moves it up. I mentioned this cold front. Up north of the cold front, it is cooler, but this is going to stall out and not really give us any relief. The only thing we may see as it starts to sink southward is a couple of very scattered thunderstorms, not widespread whatsoever. As far as temperatures are concerned, once again, we'll be very close to what we were today, pushing 100 degrees well into the 90s. And look at this big area. In fact, the entire southeastern third of the country up in the 90s. For Monday, just a touch of relief as that cold front does sink through, but it's pretty weak as far as the front goes, so we'll get a little bit less humidity. Other than that, the temperature's still in the 90s. Here's your forecast then. Tonight, fair and muggy on tap, overnight lows 73 to 78, a little cooler if you're outside the Beltway. For tomorrow, the summer swelter will continue. Crank the air conditioning, mix up the lemonade, do whatever you have to do. Highs will be around 100, probably not quite 100, but definitely in the upper 90s. Muggy again, and that slight chance of a scattered storm tomorrow night. 73 to 78 overnight lows once again. Extended, well, there's your rain, Jack. Not till Wednesday, and when they come, they should be scattered at first, and then by Thursday, a little bit more widespread. But we are going to have a couple of very hot, humid days ahead. Monday and Tuesday, less humid, but nevertheless, warmer than our averages as far as temperatures go.
And not till Wednesday.
Not till Wednesday. So like I said, find a pool, do whatever you need to do.
Right.
That's right.
Thank you. And one quick correction. I believe I said that the district judge who is up for a possible nomination at the Supreme Court is named Clarence Jones. Actually, it's Clarence Thomas. The other judge is named Jones. Coming up in sports, fight highlights from that Mike Tyson Razor Ruddock bout last night. And we'll head out to Bethesda for a look at round 3 of the LPGA Championship.
She'll have that tapping for part of the noise in the background.
On your vacation this year, why not take off for the country? The Williamsburg area. Come have a great time in the country, just 2.5 hours from the city of Washington, D.C.
If you order a suit designed around the way you're built, you have to wait about 2 months. If you want a house designed around the way you live, the wait is 2 years. But if what you desire is a car designed around the way you drive, you don't have to wait another day. The 1991 Acura Legend Coupe. Thanks to special lease rates, getting into a Legend Coupe or Legend Sedan has never been easier.
At the first tickly itch of athlete's foot, Desonex, do not stall. Desonex intercepts athlete's foot before it turns ugly, killing those grungy fungi before they get cracking and burning. All you hard chargers, Desonex knows you. Stall no longer, please. There's a can at the store with your salvation in it. Come get it, or else don't blame Desonex.
Tony Martinez here now with sports. And did you watch the fight last night?
I saw that fight last night. I thought it was amazingly similar to the first fight, Jack.
Yeah, only longer.
Yeah, longer. They let him fight this time.
But Tyson looked almost like a shadow of his former self.
Yeah, he
was
really
slow
isn't
and plodding with very brief flurries of what he used to be.
And a lot of people are blaming that on Don King. Well, that's another story. Sports Illustrated asked the question a couple of weeks ago, has Mike Tyson lost the killer's instinct? Is the rage gone? Well, based on last night's performance, the answer seems to be yes. Tyson, the shorter man in the ring against Razor Ruddock knocked down his opponent twice in the early rounds and just couldn't put him away. Ruddock had his jaw broken, though. We don't know when that happened because he went right to the hospital after the fight. Despite the broken jaw, this fight another example of Tyson's inability to finish off his man. The fight went the distance, Tyson winning by unanimous decision. Both fighters penalized for low blows, and Tyson, well, he says he wants us all to come back and do this all again. Question is, are we ready for a three-peat? These guys went the distance last night. I'm not sure we want to watch this another time.
Do you have new respect for Razor Ruddock, or do you still feel the same way about him before the fight began?
Well, can I tell you something? I guess, I don't know when, but I can see down the road. I can tell we're going to fight again.
Going to fight again. We'll see about that. Well, in golf, what a tournament out of Bethesda Country Club this week. Some excellent golf at the LPGA Championship despite the heat. And now we'll go to the final 18 holes with a three-way tie and the defending champion just 2 shots back.
Okamoto trying to break that par string.
After 16 holes of steady, if not spectacular golf, Okamoto loses 2 strokes on the final 2 holes. A bogey at 17, followed by this for par at 18.
Happen to happen. Can be helped, how can I say? But that is a past.
It's going to be fun tomorrow.
Everybody, not me.
Okamoto tied at 6 under with Meg Mallon and Pat Bradley. Bradley's second shot on the par 5 12th hole leaves her this short putt for an eagle.
I just hung tough coming down the stretch, and lo and behold, now 6 under's tied. Well, you never really get the hang of it, but it seems like I'm handling it a little bit better, the first tee nerve thing, but I'm doing okay.
Beth Daniel birdied 6 of the last 7 holes on the back 9. At 4 under par, she's in position to defend her title.
The thing is, I've just gotten myself, by my finish today, I've gotten myself in a position where I might have a chance to win this tournament, whereas if I hadn't have finished that way, I would have had no chance at all.
The best performance of the day comes from Joanne Carner, the heat sapping the energy from the Hall of Famer. At 14, Big Mama falls to her knees after barely missing that birdie putt. By the time she got to the 16th hole, Carner could barely put the tee in the ground. Her tee shot shows just how bad she was feeling. Refusing to withdraw, Carner saved par at 16 and finishes 2 under par, just 4 shots off the lead.
And it's been a lot of fun out there if you didn't have to stand in the heat. So it is a 3-way tie, top of the leaderboard. Bob Bunkowski, 1 shot back, 5 under par. Beth Daniel, Deb Richard, 2 back at 4 under. Get out there early tomorrow. They're expecting a big gallery. Just pick a spot near the very popular lemonade stand. Well, at the St. Jude Classic in Memphis, 3rd round leader is Fred Couples at 16. His chip over the bunker has a chance. Will it fall? Ball has a mind of its own. It rolls and rolls and won't fall. He's 12 under. Fuzzy Zeller comeback continues. 1 shot back at 11 under par. He helped design this course. Rick Fair started the day 1 back. He's 2 shots behind Couples despite the nice birdie putt here at 16. This week, though, the men don't have nothing on the women. Orioles and Red Sox at Memorial Stadium this afternoon. Despite the heat, another big crowd, over 40,000 there to see it. The heat wave makes you invent ways to stay cool. The towel heads had their thing going. Orioles got it going in the 3rd. Cal Ripken with a deep shot to left. Is it fair? Is it deep enough? Yes, it is. His 16th homer of the year, 2-0. In the 4th, it's a not-so-instant replay. This time, though, Randy Milligan with a 310-foot pop-up. It clears the fence, though, home run, and it is 3-0. Orioles thought they had it made with the shades. Yeah, these guys are bad in the dugout. But in the 6th, it is Wade Boggs with a 2-run shot. This to right off Roy Smith, scores Jody Reed, and it's 3-2 Orioles. Bottom of the inning, though, Chris Hoyles does it again. Seeing eye grounder between Boggs and Rivera. Cal Ripken comes around, gives Baltimore a 5-2 lead. Smith gets the win, 7-3 the final. Roger Clemens still has that stomach virus, and he will not pitch tomorrow. As you see, Cal Ripken coming in to score there. Again, the final in the game was 7-3. In the American League this afternoon, Detroit beat Cleveland. The final was 9-4. Toronto shut out Seattle 4-0. And in the National League, Chicago over St. Louis 6-4. Well, big night on the senior circuit last night by the Reds' Barry Larkin. He hit 3 consecutive home runs against Houston. Jim Deshaies, the victim of the record-setting feat. Larkin, listen to this, he's now hit 5 home runs in his last 7 at-bats. That is unreal. We'll see if he can keep it up when the Reds meet the Astros. That game starts tonight at 7 o'clock. Well, a week after it began, they're still playing in the second round at Wimbledon. One upset, U.S. Open champ Pete Sampras loses to Derek Castano, who's making a habit of these big upsets. Nevertheless, they're finally smiling at the All-England Lawn and Tennis Club. Strawberries and cream will do that to you. This man, 16th seed John McEnroe, not smiling right here. Rounding into form against Sand and Stolly, a qualifier. McEnroe, the three-time champion, wins in 4 sets, but not before one of his trademark outbursts.
The line. What the ball were you watching? That's a break point. There was no line. It didn't hit any chalk.
The fans are shouting it was out. They're agreeing with McEnroe.
Goes on to win in 4 sets. John McEnroe, the 16th DC, trying to come all the way back. And look at that great shot there from the baseline. John McEnroe, the winner. Jim Courier also wins. So does Andre Agassi for the men. On the women's side, Jana Novotná was upset this afternoon. And they're going to play on Sunday tomorrow for the first time in history.
Because of all the rain.
That's right.
So John hasn't mellowed with age.
Not one bit. It's still a lot of fun, though, isn't it?
Yes, he is. Exciting to watch. Coming up, a trip to the movies and a look at Terminator 2.
Attention kids from 2 to 15. This summer, you can take the A Train, Amtrak's auto train to Florida. See a movie, eat good food, play games, and have a fun time, all for a $29 special kids fare. Just remember, you have to bring your car and a grown-up, and grown-ups are too old to get the $29 special kids fare. Amtrak's auto train, this summer.
Out of all the channels on television, only Showtime has the movies Dick Tracy, RoboCop 2, Total Recall. None of the others will have them for over a year. The fact is, Showtime shows over 70 different commercial-free movies every month. Plus variety, family shows, championship boxing. Showtime, we entertain you like no one can.
For limited time only, your Hyundai dealer is offering more car for less money. A 91 Excel with fuel injection and power front disc brakes. Own this economical Excel 3-door for just $58.75 with $500 factory cash back. Or get this roomy Excel 4-door for just $65.10 with $1,000 factory cash back. The 91 Hyundai Excel. It's a lot of car, not a lot of money. Trade in your old Hyundai on a new one and get an extra $500 rebate. Offer ends July 8th.
They are looking for love outside their race.
The first boy I ever had a crush on, blonde hair, blue eyes.
Black and white dating service on the next Oprah show. That's at 4 o'clock on Channel 7.
Arnold Schwarzenegger may never win an Oscar, but he's one of the world's biggest box office draws. Some critics say he's even developing as a pretty good actor, and they say, surprisingly, it shows in his latest movie, Terminator 2. Sara Voorhees has a preview.
Linda Hamilton's worst nightmare has come true, but it's unimaginably thrilling for the audience. After 7 years, Arnold is back, but not to terminate. He's back to protect the son who was conceived in the first movie. Mommy, you okay? Mom!
Come with me if you want to live.
The Terminator 2 is a much more advanced cyborg than Arnold. He's made of liquid metal, and he's the most spectacular effect we've ever seen in a movie. The water woman in the abyss was just practice. The budget for this movie was reportedly almost $100 million, and it's easy to imagine that most of it went into this one effect, although it's much more like magic than a special effect. And if that weren't enough, Linda Hamilton has been preparing herself for Judgment Day, and she's become a fine-tuned weapon, as unstoppable as Arnold himself. Not exactly the sort of woman you want to take home to Mom, but a perfect addition to the Thelma and Louise summer. And Arnold, who's become such an important role model he can't play a villain anymore, has a twist to his character that blows this genre wide open. James Cameron has sneaked in an anti-war message, so the idea of not killing people becomes a brand new concept for Arnold.
I'm not a Terminator anymore, right? You just can't go around killing people.
Why?
What do you mean, why? Because you can't.
Why?
This movie was obviously made by a man with more on his mind than just selling tickets. It has a message for humanity. But for excitement alone, Terminator 2 is worth the millions of dollars audiences are going to pay to see it. This is movie-making magic at its best. I'm Sara Voorhees reporting.
In Terminator 1, he said, I will be back, and now he is in Terminator 2. And that's it for News at 7 at 6. Thanks for joining us. ABC World News Tonight is next, and I hope you can join us again at 11 tonight.
See you then.
Stay cool.
Yes.
Stay in there.
This has been a presentation of News 7, your 24-hour news source.
Welcome to the theater. The show.
And now the news from the 18th century. In colonial Williamsburg today, sophisticated English comedy was playing. Mrs. Powell was picnicking in Martha Washington's grandfather's garden. And the Smiths were visiting for the 5th time. Come to colonial Williamsburg, where America began.
All right, see you later.
Rick.
With teenagers, it's easy to find things you want to criticize.
Can you give me a hand?
But it's important to find some things you can share.
I'm Dale Solly. Parents, take the time to show them you care.
Channel 7 and GTE SpaceNet. We're on your side for education.
Think you could out-hit a redskin, outshoot a bullet, outplay a capital, and win a golf vacation or maybe even a new car at the same time? Local golfers just like you get the chance when they play Channel 7's Beat the Pro. Each week, Washington's star athletes are the pros to beat as they take their best shots. Then find out how you can play as local golfers tee off at area golf courses and try to beat the pro. Can they do it? Find out Sunday at 11 on News 7.
Fatal Marriages, next, Geraldo.
From ABC News, World News Saturday, here's Carole Simpson.
Good evening. In Iraq tonight, United Nations nuclear inspectors who faced Iraqi bullets in their search for nuclear material have put their inspection on hold. They're awaiting the arrival of high-level UN envoys to back them up with a Security Council ultimatum to Saddam Hussein. Perhaps more important to Saddam will be the veiled threat issued today from President Bush, who condemned the Iraqi leader and said the U.S. and its allies still have the authority to use military force to bring Saddam into line. Here's White House correspondent Britt Hume.
The theme of the president's long June weekend seems to have become suddenly last summer. Once again, Mr. Bush is out on the ocean, but with his mind at least partly on the Gulf. Saddam Hussein is up to his old tricks again, basking in the organized applause of his subjects while making trouble for the U.S. and the UN. This time, say UN officials, by blocking promised access to Iraqi military facilities, apparently just as his forces were trucking away suspected nuclear materials.
2 team members were able to photograph from a public highway at a very close range the convoy and the contents of the convoy, I should add. As this team did so, Iraqi soldiers fired shots in the air, presumably in order to deter the team from filming and photographing this operation.
Mr. Bush denounced the incident in language similar to his early comments on the invasion of Kuwait, and he made clear he's not impressed with Saddam's subsequent claim that UN inspectors will now be admitted.
He must comply with the United Nations resolutions. And this concept of going in there and lying and shooting in the air to scare international observers is just something that cannot be condoned. Now, he did make some statement today, but we've heard that before.
The president wouldn't say what the U.S. might do, but it was clear the situation reminds him, too, of the early stages of the Kuwait invasion.
It's premature to discuss what might be done by the United States and others. We've got some consultation to do, just as we did leading up to Desert Storm on the diplomatic front.
Top administration officials are ruling nothing out, including the use of force. And the president seems to be on a familiar course, working the diplomatic channels while simultaneously working public opinion with strong statements designed to build political support for whatever he decides. Britt Hume, ABC News, Kennebunkport, Maine.
Former President Reagan is hoping to dispel persistent allegations that his 1980 campaign interfered with the release of American hostages in Iran. In a letter to the director of the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library, Mr. Reagan says he wants his campaign files searched and the schedule of his campaign manager, William Casey, checked thoroughly for any documents that might shed light on the charges. Charges that Mr. Reagan and President Bush insist are groundless. Mr. Reagan also wants all documents relating to the allegations made public. A ceasefire is in place in Yugoslavia after 2 days of fighting that took more than 100 lives and after an intensive peace mission by diplomats from the 12-nation European community. Still, the Yugoslav army is threatening decisive military action against the independence-minded Republic of Slovenia if Slovenia resists the ceasefire agreement. More from ABC's Mike Lee.
It is a ceasefire which few seem to trust. The Slovenian police kept most of their makeshift barricades in place today amid widespread rumors that the Yugoslav Federal Army was preparing to break the truce. For the most part, the ceasefire appeared to be holding, but some of the political issues seem to be slipping back toward the crisis point. Slovenian officials, whose declaration of independence prompted the Federal Army to move in with force, today accused the military of adding conditions to the ceasefire agreement before its troops will pull back. The Army did withdraw today from this bridge, but left behind the wreckage of a truck roadblock which had been no match for federal tanks. This border post near Austria was under the control of Slovenian police, but there was little cross-border traffic in either direction. There were conflicting reports today as to just how many border posts the Federal Army had handed back to Slovenian officials. Austrian officials were concerned that the conflict might still spread and sent military helicopters and fighter jets to the border area. Some Yugoslav Federal Army troops could be seen lounging on a hilltop above Slovenian territory, but by and large the army was out of sight. In the countryside, a peasant seemed to speak for most Slovenians when he said, "We want to be our own people. We just don't want to be ruled by the communists in Belgrade." Even if a ceasefire can take hold and last, Yugoslavia still faces the same set of issues which has led to open warfare. There is nothing new on the table except hope for more time. Mike Lee, ABC News, Slovenia, Yugoslavia.
European community leaders ended their summit in Luxembourg, proud of having forged a fragile peace in Yugoslavia, but no closer to forming a more unified Europe. Jim Bitterman reports.
The European community leaders arrived in Luxembourg with plenty of unity problems of their own on the agenda, but decided they could not stand idly by as Yugoslavia disintegrated. What's more, as several said openly, this was an opportunity to make up for Europe's failure to act coherently during the Gulf crisis. So, with an aggressiveness rarely seen at these meetings, the heads of state dispatched a three-man delegation of foreign ministers to meet with all sides in Yugoslavia for a flurry of overnight negotiating. They arrived just as a ceasefire worked out by the Yugoslavs themselves was taking effect. That did not stop the delegation from pressing the rebellious republics to postpone their secessions and the federal government to order the troops back to their barracks. It also did not stop the Europeans from today boasting about solving the crisis.
The
European community has demonstrated that it is able, in exceptional circumstances, to react and to act.
Yet even if the Europeans' claims that they solved the emergency remain somewhat dubious, they are now committed to helping their neighbor find a way out of its crisis, and they will share responsibility for the outcome. Jim Bitterman, ABC News, Luxembourg.
Coming up, how hard times have produced an economic boom for used cars. A hopeful vision of South Africa's future in new multiracial commercials. And later in this broadcast, a California lawyer who serves up frank advice for people who are hungry for justice.
World News Saturday, brought to you by Mountain Grown Folgers Coffee.
The new baby was up all night. Now you gotta make the morning right. Folgers always comes through. It's decaffeinated too. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
Folgers Decaffeinated uses mountain-grown beans because they have more aroma than lower-level beans, and you need great aroma to wake you up.
Now you're off to a great start, 'cause Folgers warmed your heart. What a wonderful way to let the sun shine on your day. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
Say, kids, what time is it?
It's Kids Stay Free time at Quality, Comfort, Clarion, and Sleep Hotels.
Huh?
Kids 18 and under stay free at Choice Hotels when you call 1-800-4CHOICE and reserve a room.
In New Orleans today, a jury convicted the Deep South's first black federal judge on charges of bribery. The jury of 9 whites and 3 blacks found Judge Robert Collins guilty of taking money in exchange for giving a light sentence to a drug smuggler. They also convicted Collins of conspiracy to commit bribery and obstruction of justice. Highway robbery is the charge usually leveled at used car salesmen. But economic hard times have forced more and more people to look upon the used car salesman as a savior. Jean Meserve explains why.
The recession has hit car sales like a 10-ton truck. They're down almost 20% from last year. And many of the people who are buying used.
I think it's a recessionary mentality. You want to get the most you can for your dollar, and obviously if you can save 25 or 30 or 40 or 50% off the price of a new car in a good used car, you'll buy it.
A particularly hot item right now is used rental cars. Sometimes only a few months old with only a few thousand miles on the odometer, they can be bought at a significant discount. The economy has also put the brakes on auto maintenance.
You know, the mindset of people is they just don't want to spend money. They're afraid to spend money, and when that happens, they forego whatever they can. If the car's running, they just run it.
Some drivers aren't deferring maintenance, but learning to do it themselves to save garage bills and save their cars.
We got lots of things under here, but how do we know what's what?
At the Women's Center in Vienna, Virginia, classes on the nuts and bolts of auto repair are overflowing.
I need to have my car last a lot longer than I might have otherwise in a better economy. And right now, an ounce of prevention's worth a pound of cure as far as making a car last is concerned.
There's a limit to how long even a well-kept car can stay on the road, and auto dealers hope that means a bonanza for them down the highway. Jean Meserve, ABC News, Washington.
Political hard times, not economic ones, have caused some South African firms to change the way they do business. As Richard Sergey reports, these business people consider themselves enlightened because they're trying to sell something a lot bigger than, say, a 6-pack of beer.
Okay. One, take one.
Lights. Camera.
And action!
It may look like a Hollywood set.
Action, actors!
But it's really a train station in Pretoria, where a big-budget commercial for a South African beer is being shot. What makes this ad different is that the cast is entirely multiracial.
We are trying to show maybe a futuristic view of what things should be like. We would like people to see black and white together, to get used to the fact that people are equal.
More and more these days, the message is clearly aimed at trying to break down racial prejudices.
Mike Mbalaze believes that when we're all judged as human beings and not on color, the color issue will disappear. Philip Botha thinks South Africa could become a role model for the way people can work out problems.
Advertising the new South Africa, some say, is more than just good business.
It can be influential in affecting people's attitudes to a certain extent and creating positive shift by portraying scenes which might not be entirely realistic at the moment, but could very much become so.
It won't be easy, but it'll be exciting. The young men of today have new ideas, and many of them choose a new beer.
Action! Have you seen what but scenes like this one, some feel, are still so far-fetched for most blacks that these commercials could backfire.
You could very well get people resenting it, not because they are anti-white, but just because they question why a picture like this is being painted, because it's not real. They don't know where to meet these whites who interact this way with blacks.
For the moment, that doesn't seem to worry advertisers who believe their reality will pay off. Richard Sergey, ABC News, Johannesburg.
In a moment, why Moscow is literally falling apart.
Where do you want to be in 20 years?
Well, my father worked for the same company for 39 years. He got 2 weeks vacation, but we never traveled far. He was saving to put 3 kids through college. At 65, he retired. At 67, he died. How can I invest so that after my kids graduate, I can enjoy the second half of my life?
You can get there from here with Shearson Lehman Brothers.
Your biggest competitor is working on a proposal for the same job you're after.
You want this to be enlarged?
They have about the same idea as you do.
Copy this slide.
The only difference is...
Let's print it.
They own a Canon color laser copier, and you don't. Who would you give the job to? If you think you can't afford a Canon color laser copier, maybe you can't afford to be without one. Call 1-800-OK-CANON.
It's amazing how much scrap metal you get from a few cans of beer. Help fight drunk driving. See your Allstate agent.
When I say home by 11, I don't mean an hour later.
But Daddy...
Another Maalox moment. It's a medical fact. There's no faster therapy known for your stomach acid than Maalox. It's so strong, if you take it now, it starts working now.
Honey, I just can't help worrying about my little girl.
Daddy, I am 16.
Yeah.
Extra strength Maalox Plus. It's a medical fact. There's no faster therapy known. Look for the coupon in Sunday's paper.
At the next Superpower Summit, the U.S. will propose an exchange program between NASA astronauts and Soviet cosmonauts. Aviation Week in Space Technology says the plan calls for U.S. astronauts to spend time aboard the Soviet space station Mir, while cosmonauts would fly aboard an American space shuttle. While the Soviets have been successful in building livable habitats in space, they haven't been so lucky here on the ground. Here's ABC's Rick Enderfurth.
It is a city of unforgettable beauty, from the towers of the Kremlin to the domes of St. Basil's Cathedral to the architectural jewels along the Arbat. But like the Soviet communist state itself, Moscow is falling apart, its foundations crumbling. Everywhere you look, there are the telltale signs of years of sloppy construction, poor maintenance, official indifference. Even the city's landmarks are in danger. Like his ideology, Lenin's library has cracked. The ground under the building split 4 years ago when a new metro station was built. There are other examples.
I think there are so many that it's impossible to list it, to remember every of this building.
Moscow's city planner, Leonid Vavakin, says he lacks the money and the expertise to do something about this structural crisis.
Our builders are good at constructing conveyor belt high-rise apartments, but the reconstruction of Moscow requires skilled craftsmen like masons and carpenters. They have disappeared. Those professions must be recreated.
Another contributing factor, the city's overwhelming pollution, dangerously high not only for those living here, but for buildings, breaking down their resistance to decay. Time is running out for many of Moscow's most prized possessions, and many Soviets know it. A rescue mission has been mounted to save the city's architectural past. Already, some progress. The old Metropole Hotel, graced with mosaics by Russian masters, has been restored with the help of Finnish craftsmen. The world-famous Bolshoi Theater is getting a new lease on life. Old Moscow neighborhoods are also receiving attention. Anna Kasatkina is determined to save this building. Known as the White Chambers, it was built in the 17th century, a house for nobility.
Each nation must preserve its culture. Too much has been destroyed in our past. Today we must do all we can to preserve what is left in Moscow.
Preserve and rebuild, a task not only for the Soviet capital, but for the country itself. Rick and DeFirth, ABC News, Moscow.
When we come back, basketball's Kenny Anderson, growing up is hard to do.
If you don't have AT&T 800 service and trouble hits, who knows how long you could be out? Only AT&T automatically protects you through the 800 assurance policy. With AT&T, you would be guaranteed back in touch in 30 minutes or less. With anyone else? Who knows? But if you do have AT&T, your 800 service is guaranteed. That's not all. Since AT&T connects calls 25% faster and has the fewest block calls, more 800 calls get through, so you can make more sales. With all that, why choose any other 800 service? Better service, better results. Another AT&T advantage. Call now for free installation.
I'll never get through tomorrow if I don't get some Z's.
Introducing single-dose maximum strength Nitol. Just one will help you fall fast asleep fast. New maximum strength Nitol. Just one Nitol will help you get a lot of Z's.
To get rid of her gray, my wife can spend 40 minutes. But I discovered this 5-minute hair coloring.
The revolutionary discovery called Just for Men from the leader in men's hair coloring. Simply apply Just for Men and in 5 minutes shampoo out.
Gray is blended away. The look of my natural color is back in 5 minutes. That was me, and it won't fade or wash out.
My hair takes forever, but you look great in just 5 minutes.
The look of your natural color in just 5 minutes with Just for Men.
Maybe the reason more people switch to Glidden than any other paint in the last 5 years is because the end result always looks so beautiful.
Oh, so beautiful.
Glidden, a better way to paint.
Now let's go to Ray Gandolf in New York for a look at a challenging rite of passage for the newest New Jersey net, along with today's sports highlights. Ray?
Thank you, Carol. Mike Tyson, who turns 25 today, is not quite the destructive force he was as a younger man, but he had enough last night to win a 12-round decision in his heavyweight rematch with Razor Ruddock. Tyson knocked his man down twice in the second and fourth rounds, and he broke Ruddock's jaw, but he couldn't find the clincher. The fighters earned each other's respect and $5 million apiece. Jimmy Connors played in his 100th match at Wimbledon, and he won it over Aaron Crickstein in straight sets. And John McEnroe, who beat Fred Stolle 15 years ago, beat Stolle's son Sandin today in 4 sets. Now, can a gifted young basketball player who has been pampered and protected throughout high school and in college, can he survive in the cold, cruel world of the NBA? Meet Kenny Anderson and decide.
I play off instincts. That's just a God-given ability.
For much of his 20 years on Earth, the name of Kenny Anderson has been linked with greatness. He's a natural, they say. He can't possibly miss.
I've been in the fishbowl all my life. Like, it seems like since 9th grade. And 14, 15 years old, I'm looking over my shoulder. You know, I ain't have time to joke around, play around in the hallways or do things, you know, my friends are doing because, man, you know, this is Kenny Anderson.
What Kenny Anderson was doing in high school was setting all kinds of records and becoming a 3-time All-American at Archbishop Malloy High School in New York City. Then on to Georgia Tech, where Anderson, as a freshman, led his team to the Final Four.
He's got it. Let's do the same thing.
Coach Bobby Cremins calls Anderson the best ball handler he has ever seen.
Very clever with the basketball. He's one of those rare players who I could not anticipate when and where he was going to pass the ball.
The big plus to my game is my ball handling skills, and that's where I try to open up a lot of things for myself and my teammates.
Then, after his sophomore year, this season just passed, Anderson quit school and entered the NBA draft.
It's hard leaving Tech. I didn't know, you know, my wildest dreams that I'll be leaving so early, you know, in 2 years, but the opportunity is there.
I sometimes worry about the maturity of a sophomore going into the NBA. It's a different lifestyle. And you know, Kenny will be making a lot of money now, and he has to be very careful. But I know he really wants to make it.
You know, I'm jumping into a big arena right now, and I'm just going to have to learn how to, you know, I have to be mature. I got to grow up over the summer. How you doing? I'm all right.
Walking with skinny, scrawny Kenny Anderson along the streets that border the projects where he grew up and where he is already a legend, you realize that he is still just a kid, an ordinary kid who is soon to become a millionaire. The first-round pick this week by the New Jersey Nets of the NBA.
Kenny Anderson from Georgia Tech. Oh my, Kenny Anderson.
With your arms.
Watching Kenny Anderson turning his stringy muscles into ropes and preparing himself for life outside the cocoon, you get the idea that the new pressure, the expanded fame, the sudden fortune will not crush him.
It's going to be a big challenge for me, but if I work hard and keep my work ethic and just, you know, not worry about things, keep everything in perspective and focus, I think I'll do all right.
Pure talent got Kenny Anderson into the NBA. Talent plus character should keep him there for a long time. Carol?
Thanks, Ray. When we come back, free food for thought in the dog-eat-dog world of legal disputes.
Everybody needs some money.
$12 for every mile over the limit.
Everybody needs some.
That's $300.
You can add fast, too.
To send someone money fast,
Hello, Joan.
call 1-800-CALL-CASH. Only Western Union can get it to 16,000 locations in minutes. Nobody else even comes close.
French 101.
Something in my heart just told me.
Psych.
My sometime.
And biology, 903.
Western Union, the fastest way to send money.
Before you get on the road this summer, call for this coupon book. It's worth over $1,000 at places like Red Lobster, Alamo Rent-A-Car, and theme parks. And it's yours free when you reserve a room at any choice hotel like Quality, Comfort, Clarion, and Sleep. But call today. They're going fast.
Call 1-800-4CHOICE to reserve your room and free coupon book. Supplies are limited.
David Brinkley here. On our This Week program Sunday, will we see a fight about Thurgood Marshall's replacement on the Supreme Court? We'll ask our guests, including the U.S. Attorney General.
His name is Kim Pierman. He's a California lawyer, and he's a true legal maverick, the kind who makes those characters on L.A. Law look like a bunch of hot dogs. In fact, Pierman's found that hot dogs are the perfect gimmick for attracting long lines of clients, even if they're not paying. Here's ABC's Gary Shepard.
They call them law dogs because the owner of this hot dog stand in Van Nuys, California, is an attorney. They'll serve you anything from a plaintiff dog, just mustard, all the way up to a judge dog. That's onions, chili, and cheese, the biggest seller. Show up on a Wednesday night and you get an added bonus, free legal advice.
If you go to court and they convict you on a drunk driving, you get 3 years probation. Your fine is going to be about $850. You're going to have to go to a level 1 drunk school. You're going to have a license suspension.
Lawyer owner Kim Pierman has been doing this as a public service for 10 years, answering questions from ordinary people baffled by the legal system.
Okay, so they haven't called you yet? They're never going to call you. You think a court's going to call you? I've been practicing law 26 years. No court has ever called me. Man, how are you?
This woman is worried about her will.
And then you tell your daughter that if she doesn't follow your wishes, you're going to come back and haunt her.
I am.
Yeah.
Pierman figures he has served up free legal advice to at least 10,000 people during the past decade.
I think it's good because everybody can't afford an attorney, and I can't afford an attorney. So I think we should have more free things like this, at least somebody that can help the poor people that can't afford it.
I think it's great, and I think if more people put a little bit back into society that they get out of it, people will be much happier with one another.
Pierman says free really means free.
They don't have to buy anything. As a matter of fact, I've had so many hot dogs over the years, I've turned into a vegetarian, so they don't have to eat anything. There's no requirement to spend a nickel. Just get in line, come in, I'll answer the questions the best I can.
So if you're hungry for legal advice, this is the place to come. And by the way, the hot dogs aren't bad either. Gary Shepard, ABC News, Van Nuys, California.
And that's World News Saturday. Watch Jack Smith later on the Weekend Report. I'm Carole Simpson. Good night.